What unites all these characters? A blue-eyed beauty in a kokoshnik, a man in a fur hat, Alexander Pushkin? That's right, they are all Russians. An easy question, you say. From the outside, a Russian person has many easily recognizable features, but can you describe his inner world? Foreigners often ask, who are they, Russian people? What are their characters and lives? And we will answer you. All Russians are united by common traditions and habits, which we will talk about in this video. Today you will learn about a variety of traditions, science, and just cute facts that shape the mentality and way of life of a Russian person. Watch till the end, subscribe, and we are starting. My name is Mehdi, and you are watching Study with GE, a channel about life and education in Russia. Let's get started. Despite certain significant differences in appearance, temperament, quality of life, and other factors between people from Russia, they always have something in common and elusive. The mentality is formed by many factors such as culture, geography, and history. But in order to simply understand a person of another culture, it is not necessary to conduct a detailed research. You can simply study key traditions, unusual habits, and features of life. Some of these habits seem strange, but not only for foreigners, but to us too. For example, a bag of packages that everyone has at their home. At a certain historical moment, namely in the 1990s, then in 2000, packages appeared in Russia. Some of them have become legendary. Plastic was associated with progress. Wanting to join Western culture, people lined up in endless queues for packages and then used them very carefully. They washed them and then proudly walked around the city. Now we just have a nice habit of storing packages in the house in a such form. Continuing the topic of these little peculiarities, I want to highlight one specific place where these packages actually are held and where the concentration of strangeness is especially high. This place is a kitchen. A lot of traditions, peculiarities, and small funny strangeness are associated with this place. Of course, there is a kitchen in European homes, but what is not there is the tradition of sitting in the kitchen in the evenings and talking about life. Therefore, the concept of kitchen conversations is not there either. But in Russia, it is a whole culture. And many foreigners like the custom of gathering in the kitchen to share their thoughts while sitting at the table until morning, discussing neighbors and annoying colleagues, or gossip a little over a cup of tea. Russians like to make toasts. Actually, a long, meaningful toast, this tradition, according to the world, for some reason characterizes Russians. The more inventive the toast is, the more respect the speaker has. Everyone will listen attentively and silently and holding a glass in their hands. Even usually a feast without serious events will be accompanied by a sincere toast in which they will talk about friends, parents, love, and everything that is dear to them. And Russians drink a lot of tea. Foreigners are often surprised by the fact that Russians love this hot drink so much. Some people drink it without breaking it with ice. The love for this drink can be explained by the frequent cold and the desire to keep warm. But few people realize that there is something special and native for every Russian person in the process of tea drinking. This is already part of our cultural code. Even after a hearty lunch, tea and cake always took place. You don't even have to want to drink at all to drink tea. This is how tea is treated only in Russia. And if you look in the fridge, you'll definitely see canned food. The favorite hobby of our mothers and grandmothers surprises foreigners with its scale. Vegetables, jams, and mushrooms are canned all over the world, but only Russian people do this until the entire basement is lined up with jars of pickles. And finally, about the oddities of the kitchen. When choosing a place at the table, never sit at the corner of the table. This is a Russian superstition. It is recommended never to sit at the corner of the dining table, especially if you're a young woman. It is said that whoever chooses a place in the corner of the table is doomed never to marry and never find their lover. Russians are really very superstitious. We, Russians, have a lot of rituals and it's difficult to remember them all at once. Let's list the most important practices that are often used in life. If you forgot something at home, you should go back, stick out your tongue and look in the mirror. Otherwise, you'll be very unlucky that day. Never shake hands with a Russian on their doorstep, as this can lead to a fight. Before traveling, everyone should definitely sit for a couple of seconds and only then leave the house with a suitcase.
Надо присесть на дорожку.
So, have you learned a lot of new things? If so, like it and we will continue. Let's move on to the next place, which plays a special role in the life of every Russian. Banya, a real Russian bathhouse. Sauna, steam bath, everything is not the same. Everything is pale and expressionless. Russians congratulate each other on leaving the shower sauna with a light steam, a phrase that is practically untranslatable into foreign languages. So, it can be translated for your own pleasure, but the whole point of it will disappear. Translated, it looks like a literal congratulations on a successful wash, and foreigners are wondering why Russians say this at all. The key attributes of this place are considered to be a broom, birch or oak, choose whatever you like best, a bath head, a towel and a good company. Yes, they often go to the Russian banyas not only for the sake of health, but to spend time together. This tradition is very common among men and is ideally shown in their favorite movie, The Irony of Fate. By the way, another interesting fact is that for the last many years, The Irony of Fate has been shown to viewers every new year.
Ванная в каждой квартире. Это правильно.
Да.
Это удобно.
Да.
Это цивилизация.
Ты мне говоришь?
Тебе. Но сам процесс мытья, который в бане выглядит как торжественный обряд, в ванной просто смывание грязи.
After the premiere of the film on the 31st of December in 1975, the picture began to be perceived as an integral part of the holiday. Over the years, viewers have managed to learn every dialogue and every episode of the picture by heart. If they go to the bathhouse to warm up and relax, then to test themselves for strengths, the Russians have found another kind of entertainment – swimming in an ice hole. Swimming in the ice hole is currently not only a wellness system, but also represents a kind of subculture turning into a national winter fun. This was facilitated by the revival of the Orthodox Church. Bathing on the Feast of Epiphany took on a massive character and spread to Maslenitsa, Christmas and New Year. It is important to remember that this practice is very dangerous and real amateurs prepare quite seriously and professionally. So please, don't repeat this at home. Another cool fact, Russians do not freeze and sleep with open windows in winter. Can you believe this? This statement is partially true. Yes, some of us do sleep with a window open, but we are cold too. The temperature varies greatly depending on the region, but in fact, Russia is a cold country. But thank God we have a heating. Unlike in European countries, where the temperature drops to a maximum -10 degrees, it is not customary to install batteries. But in Russia, each apartment has several heaters in each room, like this. And the funniest thing is that it could get so hot in a room, so we would open windows. Okay, it got pretty cold in here from my stories. It would be necessary to keep warm, and what warms the soul the best is laughter and fun. Therefore, the next fact is that Russians love to tell anecdotes and know them in large numbers. Do you remember how in that anecdote? This is a Russian habit that literally blows the brains of foreigners. In the eyes of foreigners, it looks like this. A Russian tells some kind of life story and suddenly interrupts the story at the most interesting place and declares that they say it's all like in that joke. Well, you remember. And he tells a new story completely unrelated to the previous one, sometimes abstract. And Russians are also very fond of quoting, especially old movies, but sometimes books. Russian language and literature have greatly influenced the way we think and our mentality. In the speech of a Russian person, you'll hear many references to historical events, for example, in the form of phraseology. I suggest that you take apart a few phraseologies together which are still intuitively used in Russian speech, like «Сирота Казанская», which means «orphan of Kazan». The expression «orphan of Kazan» appeared after the conquest of Kazan by Ivan the Terrible. The Tatar princesses, finding themselves subjects of the Russian Tsar, tried to beg various concessions from him, complaining about their orphanhood and bitter fate. And now let's try to guess for yourself what this expression means. Pause it and write your suggestion in the comments. Stay by the broken trout. Many phraseological units have come to us from the works of the poet Alexander Pushkin. One of them is to stay at the broken trout. Now they say that about a man who lost everything he had. The source of the phrase is the tale of the fisherman and the fish. One of the main characters of this fairy tale, an old woman, had few gifts from a magical goldfish, and one of them was a new trout. Eventually, she wished to command the sea and the golden fish. As a result, greed ruined the old woman. The fish took away all the generous gifts. It was a short course on how to understand such a mysterious Russian soul. I think it has become very clear to you now that there is nothing mysterious about us. We are the same people with our own oddities, which we love and cherish very much. Write what you remember the most or tell your stories. What surprised you the most about Russians? Do not forget to subscribe and explore a new world with us. It was Study with GE.